relief at the gas pumps this year as the provincial government drops taxes over the next 6 months.
I thought you might like to hear the news.
Relief at the pumps with the UCP lifting the provincial gas tax for the next 6 months, saving drivers about 4 more cents per liter. But a recent jump in wholesale gas prices almost negates the efforts made by the government to save Albertans money at the pumps, says Dan McTagg, the president of Canadians for Affordable Energy.
We've seen wholesale prices for gasoline based on the spot market, which is really the trendsetter in Chicago, go up 20 cents a liter just in the past 2 Sundays, so in the past 14 days. And that's really why we've seen prices moving up as rapidly as they did.
Laura Krause, City News. The family of a man arrested in the slayings of 4 University of Idaho students is expressing sympathy for the families of the victims.
At Brian Kohberger's parents' house in Pennsylvania, police found a white Hyundai Elantra nearly matching the one police have been looking for the weeks after the murders. Kohberger's public defender tells ABC News Kohberger and his father drove home together from Idaho to Pennsylvania in a pre-planned road trip in December.
Driving across country took them approximately 2.5 days. Mr. Kohberger indicated that Brian was acting normal and not out of character on the drive back.
He says Kohberger will not fight extradition to Idaho during a hearing on Tuesday. Alex Stone, ABC News.
And in just over a minute, we're going to have a local update. You're listening to City News.
When news breaks from coast to coast.
So how is everybody?
City News.
We went and visited my daughter.
101.1 FM and 1310 AM.
Sunlight dancing bears synchronize their breathing through lawnmowers.
I love being home. I love it. It's a very safe feeling being home. Nothing is costing you anything. Nothing is, and it's so beautiful here. It's just so beautiful. Here, let me pull off and I'll show you.
Look at you, smiling like a gold medalist. Visit your local Subaru dealer and really own the winter.
Okay, so I don't know if I can turn it around now that it's on. I think I'll just put it like that. Isn't that a beautiful...
You have to use your imagination.
Isn't that a beautiful slope there? And of course now that the snow has mostly been melting, you can't really see the hills as much as you could before, but they'll be back as long as we get more snow. I just think that you should be really grateful for wherever you live, and that if you don't live there, it's wonderful to go places and to do different things and see different things, but really you can probably do a lot of amazing stuff locally, because everywhere is a destination for somebody. And even though Maui was was very interesting, there was a lot of visitors. It was 1,000 people a day take this one narrow road. It's 2 lanes. It's about 1 lane wide. Doesn't sound like my transmission is changing gear very well. There it did. Anyway. First, I think Canada is pretty darn beautiful. Anyway. So it was interesting to find out about what happened while we were gone, the blizzard, and of course there's almost no trace of any snow. Well, there's some, but it's really going away. I hope we're going to have more snow in the rest of the winter. It's only the 2nd of January now. So all those videos I made and all that FaceTiming I did while away still only used up half of my data. It's pretty cool. And the sky is just as blue when the sun comes out. The sky everywhere is going to be just blue as can be. Oh, we got to listen to our local stuff. What is it saying?
I'm Maria Vinca. Gyms across Canada and the U.S. are prepping for the perennial New Year's resolution membership.
Upfit in Birmingham, Alabama is like thousands of gyms across the country ready for the New Year's resolution influx. though most resolutions fail. The top reasons: lack of discipline, busy schedules, not enough time to see your New Year's commitment through. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Coming up in 60 seconds, we're going to take a look at our top stories and a check of sports. You're listening to City News.
City News is in.
All right, that was the news. I hope you enjoyed the news. You know, it's interesting using videos again instead of using just live and doing the shorts. Regular length videos, this camera has enough room on it for some of that stuff. I got sunburned yesterday, or the day before yesterday. There was a beach, on a beach, and I went snorkeling and I enjoyed the sun on the beach, and I got sunburned. I was very careful during the trip not to get sunburned, not to be out for more than 15 minutes the second day, and then there never was another day that I was out longer than that, except on the, I guess it was New Year's Eve. We flew New Year's Eve at 10 at night, and then we spent New Year's Day flying and got here in the afternoon. But it was, the sun had set by the time we went home. So I got this avocado. You saw this avocado I got, right? The base of it was this big, and then it gets narrower, but it was still 6 inches tall at least, and the circumference was really big. Anyway, so I ate the first day. I ate the whole top, which was about this much, and it was above the egg, or above the seed. And the second day I ate about this much, and by the third day it wasn't really as good, so I threw the rest out. And I saved the pit, and I washed the pit off, and I wrapped it in a washcloth, and I gave it to my daughter, and she's just over the moon, having this huge avocado pit. Who knows if she can bring it, you know, I don't know if you can really grow an avocado tree to produce stuff inside and out in the summer. But you never know. Anyway, she's just thrilled. And I also brought home cocoa beans from the cocoa plants. Cacao, which gives cocoa, and they're just fresh beans. They're dried, and they weren't fermented, and so she should be able to grow them. There's a whole pile of them. There's a handful. So that'll be fun. She loves growing her garden. You remember Gardening with Scarlett or something like that? Anyway, if you look up Gardening and Scarlett, she's got a few channels that deal with her homesteading and her pigs and her little animals, and she's off the grid. She doesn't have any connected power or water supply. So she's really, you know, but she's doing all this stuff, making cheese, and they make sourdough bread, and they don't go to town, and they don't use plastic, and she uses all the stuff from her animals to on the garden, and it's all a big recycling thing. Except, of course, I guess you have to buy animal feed. I don't like that part of the system. You're really not off the system if you have animals that you have to feed. Boy, it looks very mild here. I'm going to turn this around and show you for a moment. Look at that. Hey, yeah, I can put you up here on this thing. That's right. I forgot about that. And then I can put you out here so you can see all this. There, how's that? Could you see anything? I'm sorry for the way that the videos, I had to make the videos. I didn't want to get my family in the videos at all. And Ben isn't such a big deal because we all know and love Ben, and he's been in my videos for years. So that wasn't such a big problem. But so I held the camera out the window if people were talking in the car. So it's very noisy. So you might as well turn the sound down when you listen to them. I could do put music over it or something, but you know, I didn't. I've never filmed with the camera. Oh, maybe I have. But it's very pretty here. I wonder what you can see from there. I don't have a clue what you can see. But the sun is getting low. It's 2:50. But Scarlett was saying that the sun is, that for 2 weeks, I think, for 2 weeks they had absolutely no solar power. The sun was, the solar panels were hidden by the house for 2 weeks. And now, every day, they get 2 inches more of sunlight on the panels. But other than those 2 weeks, it's a good spot, right? It'll always have power. Very interesting how they're off-grid and doing all this stuff. Have you watched her videos? It's nice to watch her videos. I suppose my choices of videos should be uplifting things, my children, and church talks. I love church. I found 3 chapels of my church on Maui, one in Hana and one in Lahana and another in, I don't know. There might be more than the ones I saw though, because they're not necessarily on the main highway, and I only saw the ones that were viewable from there. But you know, in our church, everything is standard. All the you know, there's one prophet and the 12 apostles and the quorum of the 70, and so everything comes from Salt Lake, or you know, it's all from the leaders coming down, and so there's one standard. It's not, you know, well, we over here believe a little differently. No, it's one standard, and the whole church is exactly the same. And the buildings, they source all their materials in huge amounts. And they pay for every building before it's constructed. Every temple, every building. Lately, there was this thing about my church on there about the tithing, and tithing not being given to the poor. Well, tithing is not for the poor. Tithing is for the running of the church. And fast offering is for the poor. And so all the fast offering always gets to all the people. It doesn't, nothing is, you know. Anyway, there was this big hoopla about that. Oh dear, and about the church owning property and land. But you know, they have these enormous farms and ranches where they grow food, which they give to the poor. And we feed ourselves, and we feed each other. And so we have a bishop's storehouse. So if there's a need, then you can fill out this grocery list and go to the bishop's storehouse, and they've got all this food that has been produced because of the properties that are owned by the church. It's very wise. I mean, you give away the money and it gets turned into food and it's gone, but if you invest them into land, then you can grow things and you can support people. It's like, give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Teach a man how to fish and he'll feed himself the rest of his life. There's a lot of wisdom in these things. Also, the tithing money goes for construction of temples and the running of church schools. And so when they have one amount of money and it gets divided up into, they're building temples all over the world. A temple is not a chapel. It's where sacred ordinances are happening. And they would like everybody to be within 4 hours of a chapel, of a temple. We just happen to live 4 hours from 3 of them. And so the money that was raised in Canada, the tithing that was paid by the Canadians, well, you couldn't, the only way you could use that in building temples in other parts of the world is to send it to a school. You're allowed, churches, there's a legal thing, you know. So legally they could use that money to fund the university down there, to send the money to the university, and then use that amount of money that was in that area to send you know, who knows where, Guam and Malaysia and wherever temples are being built. Hong Kong and Taiwan. And anyway, and so the temples then can still be built. But in no way did this impact the poor not having the same funds. The funds, the church gives millions or billions of dollars to the Red Cross and to different, you know, like even locally to Kingston, thousands of dollars went to feed the poor in the Kingston area. There's you know, but everywhere, all over the church, all over the world, wherever the members are, the members have gotten involved in local projects, and then the church is sending the money to fund these projects like the food banks and just different projects, you know. And of course it also helps, it's got huge warehouses and can ship stuff and truck stuff to where there's been a disaster. So often the church is the first people in there after disaster. They don't publicize it all. It's not on all the news. But you can recognize them somewhere. Their helping hands is written on yellow t-shirts. Hey, that was my friend Rosie. You've seen her in mirror views videos. Should have probably stopped and said hello. But I didn't. Oh well. I just thought I should mention that. But not many people watch to the end of the videos. Most people only watch the first 5 or 10 minutes. So, whatever. It is what it is. With this, if it's a live video, people will tune in when it's live so they could see parts of the video that are later. But I don't think it's a good idea to subscribe, because subscribing gives you notifications of every single video I make. But if you just like it, then it rises on the algorithms. Well, maybe subscriptions matter too in that number. And also, what was the other thing about it? Oh, but if you share it, if you like it and it helps you, then share. And share it on Facebook or something, and maybe one person that you know will like it, or it'll be useful for somebody's mom. Anyway, that's all I had to say on that. I'm glad to be home, but it was really fun to be there. And Maui is a very nice place, but you have to be a person that doesn't mind a lot of people, a lot of American tourists. Mostly it's American tourists. And it's just as built up. There's McDonald's and everything else that's here in Canada or in the United States, and they get their bananas from Ecuador, and you know, it's Whole Foods with every single thing they stock in any other location. They have it all there, in Costco, the whole works. Anyway, so I love you guys. See you later. Bye.